Hello everyone, this is BC here, and I just wanted to do a quick analysis on the 12 minutes of Fire Emblem Three Houses combat gameplay. I saw this probably a couple days ago, but there were some things I wanted to point out. So let's just get started. So the victory and defeat conditions are pretty basic, but we did see um, before in the day two of the treehouse, I think there was another objective there. And I'm assuming that there's going to be multiple objectives in this game as well, simply because we have green units, we have yellow units, um, and it just seems like they're kind of going back to the old ways of Fire Emblem, and not completely obviously, but there's definitely some old Fire Emblem uh, traits in this game. All right, so the first thing I wanted to point out was this player face symbol here. There's actually 21 symbols or crest, or I guess you could say 21 emblems surrounding this circle or whatever it is really. Um, so I guess that means there are going to be 21 different crests in total is what I'm assuming that means. I'm assuming this is all of them, which is interesting because initially I didn't think there would be 21, but I'm thinking that this is basically telling us that there's only 21 crests. All right, so the second thing I wanted to, I guess, really talk about was here we have your units right here and the enemy units in Third Army. So this is probably going to be a lot like Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn, where there's four different factions sometimes. Where there's the player phase, the enemy phase, well, it used to be called the partner phase, but I think now this is just reserved for the monsters. I'm assuming, and then the other phase, which is the green units. And then here we have the mini map, which is cool. But one thing that I was kind of concerned about here is that the whole left side of the map is kind of just there's nothing really here. I mean, I don't know what this symbol here is. I know this is two things you can destroy, but I'm not sure. I think this might be like a teleport or a warp symbol, maybe a healing symbol. Um, but yeah, this whole left side of the map is empty. So I'm hoping that maybe that there's reinforcements that come, or maybe this is just a one-time thing, but it does look like there should be some enemy units here or something happening here to make this side of the map a little bit more active instead of just having the monster here. So yeah, here we have him moving, or able to move. I think that's 8 spaces, but he also has a symbol here that has like the movement plus symbol. I'm not sure what it's coming from. Maybe it's like a beginning of the map skill that activates for one of these units here that boosts the team's movement. I really don't know, but that is interesting to see. Also, Armor Knights using steel gauntlets is also a cool thing to see. Another thing I wanted to point out before I leave here, this is I think what Mercedes, yeah, I think this is Mercedes. She's the healer of the group in this map from what I saw before, but she also can use bows, it looks like. So it looks like healers, even if they're, I think she uses white magic, healers can also use bows, that's pretty cool. Another thing I wanted to point out here, we also see the means of attack menu or whatever, basically selecting which weapon you'll use. There looks like there's like a lot of room here, and I think there's about maybe it looks like there's more than 10 slots here for you know weapons, and maybe this is where items go as well, but it looks like there's more than 10 slots, that's kind of insane. If they do allow that many weapons or items to be held. So here we also have these symbols up on top here. Um, I'm not entirely sure what that is. I mean, these three look like the weapons. This looks like the authority symbol, but I'm not sure what this is, and I definitely don't know what that. It looks like some sort of awakening thing, but I don't know what that is. But it is interesting to see. I also like that here you can cycle through the combat arts for the different weapons. You can also dismount Pegasus right here. You can dismount Pegasus as well. I'm not sure if that was confirmed before, but yeah, that's definitely interesting. So I wonder if I guess your Pegasus Knight would just be kind of chilling in the middle of the field. I don't know. That would be interesting to see. I'm not sure why they renamed. Um,
I'll do my best.
I'm not sure why they renamed Cancel to Move Again, but I mean, I guess it's the same thing. But yeah, I also like how it tells you right here that this is defensive terrain except for flyers. Um, Before, I mean, if you played Fire Emblem enough, you would know that. But for new players, that is definitely helpful because there was no way to know that before unless you actually tested it out if you're a new player. So yeah, that's definitely helpful. I also like here how the iron bow shows you that it's effective against flyers right there in the the little icon. That was shown before, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I mean, here it looks like Dimitri's assault troop. This is overpowered. I mean, 43 might. That's an OCO to literally any soldier here, from what I can tell. Um, I don't know if the boss would be OCO'd by that as well, but that's pretty insane strength. Now here, killing this monster looks like it drops loot, and I'm assuming it's going to be very good loot because this monster has 2 health bars, which they actually show when it loses one of its lives, I guess. The little emblem or the diamond here kind of goes gray and it refills, which basically shows that he has the 2 lives here. That's pretty insane. If different monsters have different amounts of health bars and maybe final bosses have health bars, that's going to be very interesting in terms of difficulty and the gameplay. And I mean, even in this trailer, we can see that a lot of people don't do a lot of damage to the monster itself. And I'm assuming that, there's going to be a chapter probably where there's multiple monsters and not just one of them like there are here. And if that's the case, that's probably going to be a pretty difficult chapter. So here we see that his Ash's range is 3 to 6, which is, I mean, that's pretty insane. I was hoping they would give a buff to bows, and this is exactly what I was looking for. But yeah, I mean, I feel like archers are going to be good in this game. Of course, we see here that his hit goes down to 43, and I'm going to assume that the farther out that you try to shoot, the lower your accuracy, which I do like that. However, he's using a skill called Deadeye, and I feel like Deadeye should be like a very accurate move, but yeah, aside from that, I do like how you can aim this far away and that it decreases the accuracy as the further out you go. Now we also see here that his bow rank is B, and I'm wondering if the higher your bow rank, the more range you get. Because I don't remember seeing any archers having 6 range on their bows before this, and I don't think anybody's had a B rank in bows, but I could be wrong about that. That's just speculation. So here it looks like the new healing is called assist instead of heal, or yeah, I think it was just called heal before. Assist though, I feel like it may be called assist because maybe it won't just be for healing. Maybe it'll have other maybe stat boosters or I don't know, something like that. But yeah, that is interesting. Now, I understand he's an armor knight, but I really was hoping that they'd maybe get 5 move in this game, and they still have 4. Um, that's one of the main problems is that they don't keep up with the army. So maybe hopefully, maybe you can get stat boosters in this game, like boots or something, to make them more viable. Or I mean, of course, in this game you can actually change classes to whatever. Really, it's just some people are better at other things than the others. But I really am kind of I'm worried that Armor Knights just won't be good in this game. Then of course he has resistance of 1, which yeah, any magical attack is probably going to OHKO him. I mean, if it doubles, of course, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now, I don't understand why this guy here just decides to commit suicide, but yeah, he clearly didn't look at his attack and the enemy's attack and also the enemy's health. I mean, he would have been better off attacking one of your units. So I'm already thinking that the AI is going to it's going to be a little bit dumb in this game, but you know, in this instance at least, it definitely he definitely could have attacked one of the player units and survived this turn. Now, speaking of that enemy attacking this monster, I will be interested to see if he attacked the monster because the monster has a loot drop here. At least I'm assuming this is a loot drop. If that's the case, then that will be interesting as well because that actually means the AI is maybe a little bit more intelligent in that they will attack the monsters if they drop something and try to get the loot and prevent you from getting the loot. Or maybe it's loot that actually is like a really good weapon or something, and they can just start using the weapon right away and cause problems for your army. I don't know. There's a lot of things that could happen with these monsters here in the loot they drop, or I'm assuming that they drop. I'm also trying to figure out if maybe destroying these traps here, or I guess maybe barricades here, if destroying those yields some sort of item, or maybe if you destroy them, you can pick it up or and use them later yourself. I don't know. There's different things that can be possible with that. Like when I say destroying these and picking them up and using them later, it's kind of like the bombs in the GBA Fire Emblem games. Well, not Sacred Stones. I think it may have just been in FE7. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, it's interesting to see what that goes towards. Okay, now here maybe I'm just not forgetting things, but it says Divine Pulse here. What exactly is that? I'm pretty sure I've seen it before, but I can't remember. Also here, I'm noticing that the Iron Lance has 99 hit versus a Steel Axe. Now, maybe that's because this Byleth seems to be over leveled, but I also I don't know because it doesn't really show or any indication that the Steel Axe beats the Iron Lance in the weapons triangle. Um, I don't know. That's interesting though because 99 hit with an Iron Lance versus a Steel Axe. I feel like that's a little unbalanced, but maybe it's it could be anything. This is the main character Byleth after all, so you never know. Also, another thing before I forget, the Miller's Turnwheel in this game, or the well, it won't be called Miller's Turnwheel, but it reminds me a lot of Tactics Ogre Let Us Clean Together, and that it even has the same sound effects really, but you can rewind any amount of turns. Well, in Let Us Clean Together, you can only go back 50 turns, but in this game, you can only use it twice, so that's the main difference. But there's also a reward in Let Us Cling Together for not using it's called the Chariot in that game, or the Wheel of Fortune, really. But if you don't use it, they reward you at the end of the game with a title. So I'm wondering in this game, if you don't use the turn wheel at all, if you get some type of, I guess, recognition at the end of the game saying that, you beat the game without using it at all. That'll be interesting to see and useful for completionists, of course. Here we see that the monster has a cracked crest stone. So I'm assuming that later on, stronger monsters will have crest stones that aren't cracked, and it will just be even more powerful or insanely powerful, really, because this one right here is powerful enough. I mean, he's doing 21 damage, and the hit really isn't that bad. Also, it looks like there's a chance to poison. I don't know, but that is that's pretty devastating. Also, here I noticed that depending on which tile that they try to select to attack, it seems to do different amounts of damage and hit. Of course, it kind of shows that if he attacks two range, the monster will retaliate, even if even if technically the range is 3 here because it's the Pegasus Knight that's initiating the attack, and it's 1, 2, 3. But it counts as just 2 spaces away because it's still in the front. Whereas if you attack the back, there's no counterattack. Or no, sorry. Okay, so actually, it looks like he's just changing the type of attack he's doing, and it depends on. Okay, so it has nothing to do with what I just said. Ignore that. Also, here we see that the physic tome only has 5 uses in this game. That's I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it used to have 15 actually. So yeah, this is interesting. You're really going to have to pay attention to how you use this. It looks like here when he attacked, he activated the Crest of Fraldarius. Felix did because it shows up when he attacks like right here, like there how it showed up on this side right here. So here we see that Sylvain actually gets a support boost with all two, well, both of these guys, and I wonder if that everybody in the same house is able to support with one another. That will be interesting to see because it allows you to basically choose who you want to have max supports with, assuming that the support system will be limited, like the GBA games where you could only have, I believe, like 4 or 5 max supports. So you could have like an A rank with one person, a B rank with another person, or a C rank with like 5 people. Something like that will be interesting to see. So yeah, it looks like all the battalion attacks cannot be retaliated against. And he attracted the King of Beasts. Like if you see here, it says he attracted the King of Beasts' attention after he attacked him. Um, I'm wondering if I don't know. Will that mean that the King of Beasts will just ignore people in the way and just go after him, or will it plow through people that are in the way to get to him, and just ignore the people on the side? I wonder how that works, but that is interesting. It leads to some interesting possible mechanics for bosses and later monsters and etc. So I like how some of the bandits here are actually like cavaliers, and I think there's like a mage in the back, which is interesting because, or that's interesting because in the past bandits have pretty much always just been like brigands or sometimes maybe fighters or I don't know. It really hasn't ever. I don't think. Well, there probably has been instances, but it's very rare that it's been like cavaliers and knights that are bandits. So here we see that Sylvain gets absolutely wrecked. Um, but before we saw him take 17 damage from the regular attack, so that means that this special attack does more damage than his regular attack, which means there's a separate damage calculation, or that this attack is based off of maybe the magic stat instead of the attack stat. I don't know, but yeah, I this did a lot of damage, and if a single beast is basically able to do, I think it's like a 22 damage to like an area of effect, which means that if there's just a lot of people there, that he can just hit multiple people for 22 damage, which is absolutely insane. Especially considering it has 2 lives, which means that it's probably going to be very rare for you to one turn a monster. Um, I mean, maybe 1 health bar, but 2 health bars seems pretty difficult to one turn. So yeah, these monsters are definitely going to be a huge threat. Yeah, I mean that hits 8 spaces. That's pretty insane. I wonder if maybe if there are multiple people there that it divides the damage, but if not, then that is definitely a devastating attack.
Well,
Also, if you pay attention to his dialogue here, he says, "I can't believe it. Well, not much more I can do here." Now, I don't know if they're playing casual mode on this save, but if not, I wonder if the students can actually die pre-time skip, or maybe they're just not allowed to die pre-time skip. I'm not sure if you can actually recruit people outside of the monastery. I think that you can, but it is interesting. His dialogue here just suggests that he doesn't actually die here. This is one of the core, I guess,
you
group
saved me.
group abilities here. Resonant White Magic. It's like a circle of white mages. And the max battalion level here is 5. And I'm assuming that's for every battalion as well. Looks like it looks like here the beast gets confused after that. So maybe once you take down the health bar, they're under some sort of status effect temporarily. But that is interesting to see. I wonder what the confused stat would actually do. So here we see that the restore magic actually has a range of 1 to 4, and I'm just assuming that's the cure status effects. Okay, so here on this menu here, we can see that the chapter's called Battle on the Outskirts, or maybe that's just a random battle. But here we see, okay, yeah, so here we see that Battle on the Outskirts seems to be a random battle because it gives you the option to retreat. And I'm assuming you can't just retreat from a chapter battle. Um, you have all the basic stuff here, but another interesting thing here is the auto battle here. Now, this is another thing that I'm assuming, if it works the way that I'm assuming that it works, it's something that they had in Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling Together as well, where you could literally set your units to basically automatically, battle. This is also something that you could do in, I believe, Radiant Dawn and maybe Path of Radiance, where you could just have your units do certain things by having them follow certain orders. This is also it also applied to yellow units in those games, but yeah, it's interesting to see that auto battle is here. I like here how the arrows barely do any damage to the beast because that makes a whole lot of sense. I don't see how an arrow is going to pierce any of this armor skin that it looks like it has. So when I first saw this, I thought it was like a one of those tri attacks, basically where it's like the three Pegasus do their thing, like how they always had a triangle attack. That's what it was. That they always had in those the older games, but I think this is probably just the regular gambit. And also here you can see that the beast is confused, which I believe that confusion effect actually happened from the last attack and not from back when it lost a health bar. So I'm interested to see what that status effect was, or if it was a status effect at all. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my analysis. I'll see you guys in the next one.